Welcome in the head coach of the Lakeview girls basketball team, Kevin Haynie, to help us preview this upcoming season that we're so excited about. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
All right, before we start this preview of today's this season, I want to kind of reflect on last season. I know you've been able to watch a lot of tape in the off season and try to pick up things that you guys did really well that you can build on for this year. What were some of your takeaways from this team last year and some of the things that you can really take from the film of last year into this year?
I think number one, you look at like the core players you have coming back and the stuff that we really focused on. We're primarily really focused on defense, boxing out, the fundamentals of the game. Yeah, you wish you can just score points at will, but when you struggle sometimes like that, you got to take some steps back and you got to just slow things down a little bit. This year, we're anticipating a little bit different than what we've done in years past. We have the most kids that we're going to have on the roster since I've been there, so that's a good thing. But a lot of young girls are getting some varsity time, so we're really excited about the 2 days of practice that we had so far. We had our first practice Tuesday. Our girls had a real strong showing with volleyball and soccer. So we had all the girls on Tuesday, and then we had our first scrimmage yesterday, and we're happy with where we are after just 2 days. We're excited.
What was that like having your first scrimmage just one day into practice?
It's great. Who cares? Like I told the girls, there's nothing to worry about. You just go play basketball. Don't think about anything. You're just if coaches weren't there and you threw 5-on-5, the 5 better people would win. Coaches, they're not even in the equation. So just go play basketball and play it. The reason you play it is so you have fun and you get to play with your buddies.
All right, let's talk about this roster that you're putting together this season. You brought up the returning core. Shout out them and obviously what they're going to mean to this team, but then maybe some new faces that Lakeview fans can look forward to also seeing on the court this year.
Yeah, well, it starts Maggie Pavlansky will be a 4-year starter for us. She's a leader. Brooke Snyder, she's a tough out because she hustles everywhere. And the great thing about her, she smiles. It doesn't matter if we're winning or losing. She's just got her head leveled, and she's just having a good time. Kylie Schwartz will be a senior. She started a couple games for us, so we have her back. So we have those 3 seniors. We got a core of juniors we'll have back: McKenna Warner, Izzy Haynes, and Marina Sanders. They all lettered last year. We got a group of incoming freshmen. We got a couple kids that didn't play as freshmen that have showed up, and they're interested back in playing basketball. So I'm just excited to see really what we really have once we get to the season.
All right, obviously summers are kind of a double-edged sword because you can learn a lot about your team, but also with summer vacation, other sports going on, it's hard to always have everybody at everything for summer. So what was your summer like, and what do you think were some of the big things that you guys did this summer to take strides as a program?
Well, the one thing, like in the summer, the last couple of years, we were part of a season where we'd play 2 games or 2 locations. We'd play other people. This year, I kept it all in-house, and we competed just amongst ourselves. So, yeah, I mean, we're kind of young, but we have a couple real good players coming back. And the reason I did that is because a lot of times in the summer, we still saw the same people do the contributions. And I wanted to switch a lot of stuff up, and I wanted everybody handling the ball. Everybody. So we did a lot of 3-on-3 leagues in just Lakeview. So it was just our players. We didn't go play anybody else. We kept it. We were there 4 days a week, and we played amongst ourselves. And, I mean, everybody grew. Everybody got better. Everybody had to handle the ball. You go to a 5-on-5 game in the summer, your point guard handles the ball that goes up and down the court. Your scorer scores. So this was better. I think everybody realizes what we want from them, and I want everybody contributing this year. So I think it was a good thing for us.
Keeping it in-house like that do you think that also paid dividends in trying to build chemistry with the players that were there and were able to make it to those summer events? Like it's all inside, it's all in our own gym, so we can really be ourselves and kind of keep it in our little inner circle and try to build chemistry that way?
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of young kids, a lot of freshmen, and they don't really know me too well. And so that you get to build just that relationship with a player and a coach. The older kids, like I had a couple of the older kids that they had to go and they had to do their travel volleyball. And yeah, you're a kid, be a kid, enjoy high school. And that's one thing I think that like I got more kids coming out because it's not like, hey, if you don't come, then you're not playing. Like you got to be a kid. You got to have fun. You got to play because you're having fun and you want to be there with your buddies. So, I mean, that was one thing. I think a lot of girls had fun this summer and there's no stress. There's no expectations. You show up and we just hustle 3-on-3s and we're running the side hoops and you're 10 minutes on, you're 10 minutes off. The next group's in. I mean, there's really no downtime. I take kids to a summer league, I'm playing 5 and I'll sub a couple of people in here and there. And so think about that. If I go to a summer league on Tuesday, Thursday, a lot of kids might get the ball in their hands 4 or 5 times in a 10-minute period. If they're younger, here, you're expected to handle the ball. There's only 3 of you on the court. You got to handle the ball and you got to play basketball.
All right, so let's talk about the schedule that you guys are putting together this year. Obviously, everyone knows how good the NE8 is, so let's start with that and what you expect out of the league and what kind of things you see as how Lakeview fits into the picture of the NE8 this year.
Well, we've improved every year, and that's a good thing. The league's tough, and again, my first year coming in, going from boys basketball to girls basketball, it was an eye-opener. I didn't realize how competitive it was. And when you look at the league, okay, you got Poland, you got South Range, Struthers is good. You got Girard, who's going to be good. You got new coaches at Niles, new coaches at Hubbard. So you don't really know what they're going to bring to the table. And then you got Jefferson, who traveling up there, it's tough to play. So it's a competitive league, night in, night out. It's fun. I mean, we were able to split with a lot of teams last year. I expect it to be a fight every night with anybody on that schedule at any time.
Your defense was able to keep you in a lot of those games as well against the NE8. I mean, how much of an emphasis do you think you're going to put, especially in the conference games, of keeping that lockdown defense in check?
Yeah. We focused on defense, and we do a lot in practice of where we're supposed to be. We do a lot of the fundamentals where, let's be realistic. Somebody shoots the ball, it's a 50-50 chance it's going in. So we got to play everyone that it's not going in, and we got to make sure that they get one possession. Offensively this year, we're going to try to move the ball a little more. Last year you look down the bench and you're looking, you got 10 girls, 12 girls total. That's JV varsity. And you're thinking, okay, I got to think about how deep I can go onto this bench and how much I got to run these girls. This year we have 18, 19 on the roster. So we looked at we could do some things that we haven't done in years past.
Let's look at the non-conference schedule. Who are some teams that pop up outside the NE8 that you're excited to kind of test yourselves with and you're excited to go and compete against?
Yeah, well, we started out with Youngstown East, but we also have Harding. We got Ursuline, so the schedule's tough. Something that's back on the schedule, last game of the year, we are playing Howland. So that's at Howland. It's going to be a fun year. It's going to be a fun year. It's going to be challenging. And I think I got the right squad that's going to compete night in, night out.
You already talked about some of your leaders and the ones that we're not surprised about. We know Maggie Pavlansky's a leader. We've seen her in every other sport as well. Who do you think are some players that are going to step into a leadership role this year and maybe be a little bit more responsible in their leadership capacities this season than maybe they were last year?
Well, it does. It does go around Maggie. When Maggie's there, everybody else kind of pays attention a little more. Brooke Snyder's got to step up. She's a senior. She's going to be a 3-year letter winner. And, that's something you want to hang your hat on, is having seniors that are going to be vocal and they lead by example. Marina Sanders, Izzy Haynes, they're juniors. They know what I expect of them, and I expect them to be leaders on and off the court. And like I said, the younger kids, you just got to like what you have with them right now.
And with those younger kids, obviously, first impressions from a coaching staff are so important. So what are some most important things that you want players to know when they come into your program? What are the first things that you want them to know about you, your coaching staff, and your philosophy and culture in Lakeview?
Well, like I said last year, like I'm going to treat them as basketball players. It's not boys, it's not girls. You're basketball players, and I expect you to be a basketball player. There's nothing that I'll ask you to do that I don't think you can do. Um, we want everything they got for the 2 hours we have them, and when it's on the floor, it's the same thing. You give everything you got while you're on that floor. And the one thing is, like, you look, it's the season. It's a long season, and it does, like, we always stay competitive towards even the end of the year. And I know sometimes it just gets to be like it's a drag, and it's like, oh my gosh, I want it to end. I don't think anybody ever wanted it to end the last 4 years. So I mean, that's a good thing, and I think the girls know what we expect of them. It should be exciting. I'm kind of happy with where we are after 2 days of practice.
Obviously, as a head coach, you get the interviews, you get the limelight, but you have a great staff behind you. I want to give you a chance to highlight your coaching staff, give them a shout out, and talk about what they bring to the table as well.
Yeah, Jessica Irwin, like I said, she's a college player. She played at Akron. Zach Brown's a teacher in the system, so he does a lot of the stuff that I can't do because I teach at a different system. But we're all on the same page. We talk, we text back and forth. The summer, they're there all summer with me. So it's kind of nice. I think we all trust each other. They know that I don't know everything. And I'll be the first to tell everybody that. I don't know pretty much anything when it comes to the game of basketball. All right. And I might be wrong 99% of the time, but we all talk about it and we all brainstorm and we all come together and we at least agree that we got to do what's best for the kids.
All right, as we go into the season, I want you to give us your team's biggest strength that you think going in, and then what you think is going to be the thing that they have to work on the most this season to be as good as you want them to be.
Yeah, number one, I think it's we're pretty disciplined. This year, like I said, with just the depth we have, if we can get that discipline at all levels and start those freshmen off on the right foot, they're going to help us out towards the end of the year. There's no doubt about it. And so that's the big weakness too, is like there's the expectation. You do have 3 seniors that have some experience. You have some juniors that have a lot of experience. They started games, went back and forth. But then now you got to rely on some of these freshmen to step up, and they got to fill those shoes sometimes.
All right, before we let you go, I want to give you a chance to give the Lakeview community a shout out. When is your first home game, and when can they first see the Lady Bulldogs in action?
Yeah, we started off the 18th of November, and we got Youngstown East coming to our place. It was an overtime game last year to start it out, so I mean, could be a good game. Might be worth your money.
Man, you're getting started right on the first official date of the season, too.
Yeah.
Coach, we look forward to that. We look forward to covering you guys all season, and we wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon as the season goes on.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a good one.